on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Right now, it's 55 degrees.
It is Wednesday. It's the noon hour. That means it's time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by the Solon American Legion. And here's your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Senior Talk. What a wonderful, beautiful, non-windy, except for me, day here in late April. Boy, this is living today. Those winds are just atrocious, and they cause all kinds of trouble even walking. I went for a big walk yesterday, and I'm telling you, walking into the wind was a challenge. That's why I did it, as a matter of fact. Was a challenge. So don't do that. Let's hope we have more weather like today. Well, welcome to Senior Talk, the weekly radio program where we're going to try to identify and examine and share some important and timely information for we and you fellow seniors. And as always, thank you for taking a break here over the noon hour and maybe spending a little time listening to Senior Talk. Grab yourself a nice cold root beer and a sandwich and see what we can cook up. I'll do my very best, as always, to bring a lot of senior info to you, timely tips and ideas, and also some fun recollections of past people, places, things, and events. You might catch something here at Senior Talk that is helpful to you. You might catch something that's helpful. Maybe you can relay that to a friend of yours or someone in your family. That's what we try to do. It's not everything for everybody. We can't do that for sure, but we'll do our very best. My name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm 74 years old, and I think that we seniors have a lot on our minds, and we're going to talk about it. Now, I've been a licensed Iowa real estate broker in the state of Iowa, working mostly in Iowa City and Coralville since 1974. As a matter of fact, I think the first week of May is the 50th anniversary of me going to the fort. I went to Hotel Savoy, or a hotel, I think that was downtown Savoy, downtown Des Moines, and took our test, and I've had a real estate license, been working at it ever since. So that's what I do. I help people buy homes, sell homes. I work mostly with seniors these days. I work with lots of estates. I work with lots of administrators, executors of estates. Trust departments call me, attorneys call me, things like that. So that's a story. If you'd like to talk to me about real estate needs, or maybe down in the future, down the road a ways, give me a call. It's always worth your time to sit down and talk to someone about where the market is, what financing can be, taxes and things like that. You can get me all the time at my senior line, which is 319-330-5534, 330-5534. I had an interesting call from a senior this week. We'll tell you about it next time, all right? Well, tell you what, today is the last week in April of 2024, which means next week, a week from today. A week from today is Wednesday, May the 1st. May 1. So we've almost got April in the book, and we really haven't had much of a spring. It's been windy and cold and rainy. We had a couple nice days, but we need more. So I'm looking for the worm to turn, as they would say, next week. And speaking of next week, May 1st, does anybody still, like when we were kids, make May baskets? Do kids still do that? Boy, that was a big deal. We'd take those little baskets. God, I think they had, what was that little corn candy looking thing? Looked like, maybe that's what they're called, corn candy. That was a big deal. Suckers, we'd take it, run it on. We put it on our friends' houses, the girls' houses. We did that all the time. And then run, it was a big deal. Then they came out with May Day cards, which was the big thing. So that'd be a week from today. If anybody still does that, I don't know. Also, a week from today, May 1st, is the first day that you can start taking your garage sale items. You bet. Clean out the garage, clean out the basement, clean out whatever it is you don't want anymore, but you think might be of value to someone else. You could take starting next week, starting a week from today, the Coralville American Legion on Coralville Strip. And in their community room back there, they're going to have all kinds of things ready to go. I've got an older set of golf clubs that are going to go down there for sure, and I'll have that there next Wednesday. And their big garage sale then, indoor garage sale, in case it's raining, indoor garage sale, will be Saturday, May 4th. So we'll load up and take some things to the Coralville American Legion. You don't get any money. You don't get any paperwork. You get the satisfaction of knowing that you got rid of things, A, and B, whoever buys it, whatever money they make goes to the Coralville American Legion to work on their veterans' activities, you bet. Well, I'm going to give you another tip, and I guarantee you won't remember this. Now, we're seniors, so we don't remember much anyhow, but I guarantee you won't remember this at all. Gilbert Street Bridge is closed. So, how many times will you be heading somewhere, maybe even running a little late, and be on Gilbert Street? And you'll think up the most famous words in the word, oh, crap. you'll be in the traffic, and it'll all be backed up. It'll all be because head northbound or southbound because the Gilbert Street Bridge is closed, and you forgot. Well, I'm reminding you now that the Gilbert Street Bridge is closed, and call me or send me a text sometime at the senior line. Tell me that you forgot and got stuck on Gilbert Street. I want to hear from you because that's what we seniors do. We just forget all the time, and I'm just reminding you right up front, knowing that you'll forget that the Gilbert Street Bridge is closed. Now, you know the closing of a bridge or streets like 5th Street and Corville up by Hy-Vee, but they've got that all torn up. It's really, really tough on businesses and people. It's also tough on emergency planning. So the Iowa City Fire Department has to sit down and have big meetings on how they're going to get to here, how they're going to get there. Not only a bridge, but where they can get water supply, how's the ambulance is going to get there, the police department, how's the Corville Fire Department going to get here or there? Can they come out and go the same direction for fires out in different areas, and knowing that they can't get down 5th Street out there by Hy-Vee? Can the Iowa City Fire Department bring in an engine from the Southeast Station and get to downtown Iowa City? Which way are they going to go? They can't come up Gilbert Street. Lots and lots of things that go into the thinking here. Bus routes are all going to be changed, and you might get on or off the bus at a different place. But it's all in the name of the street repair, and we can't complain. We can complain, but we all know that we need the street repair. That's the way it's going to be. I just want you to know, I guarantee you, me included, I'll forget that Gilbert Street is closed. So I was thinking that the wind definitely had to blow itself out. It blew so much for the last 4 or 5 days, I think it just gave up. Well, enough is enough. Heck with that. Let's just get on with some good old spring weather here. So, we made it. We've now made it past property tax season and income tax season. Not much left in the old bank account by now, I don't suppose. But I do bring a sprig of big hope. I've got some hope for you, and that is this. In about 2 weeks, the University of Iowa students will be leaving. And that's a good and a bad thing. It's a love-hate relationship we have with them. As a former student, I never went anywhere. I was always around town. But when they're from out of town, they leave, and they go leave us alone for a while. But when they come back, they bring the students the vitality and the vibrancy to the community, and they bring a little money with them, too. So, like I say, it's a good, bad thing. Finals are in 2 weeks, and if you remember, had the good fortune to go to junior college or maybe whatever you went to education, finals are in 2 weeks. There's life after finals. I never thought I'd say that because I thought that was the end of the world if I didn't get a good grade. But I came out okay as far as I'm concerned. All right. Well, I was wondering, and I do this all the time, whether you go to the grocery store or you stop in at the bank or you go to a meeting somewhere. I'm wondering, when you run into someone you have not seen for a while. Now, I might mean a couple years, or 3 or 4 years, or 5 or 6 or 7 years, do you later say to yourself, man, Bob sure looks old? Now, I've done that a million times. Man, I haven't seen Sharon for a long time. Gee whiz, or Bob, man, they've kind of had a hard life. I wonder if they say the same thing when they see me. I wonder if they say the same thing when they see you. Boy, old Rex, he's really going down the hill. He's about half gone. But well, I might be. I don't know. But it just shows you think you haven't aged until you see someone else. When someone else sees us, you or me, I wonder if they say, boy, Bob sure he's looking pretty old. It's just the way it is, folks. So don't worry about it. It's not a vanity type of thing. Just go be yourself because we look older. I call it the look of experience, all right? That's exactly what we're after. So don't worry about it at all. Well, I am in good touch and conversation with a lot of seniors who live alone. And that's kind of an understatement. I talk to, I deal with, I know a lot of seniors who live alone. And I mean alone, one person. Now, if you want to lump in a man and wife or husband and wife type of thing, and the kids are all gone and now they're just living alone, I can understand that with this too. Well, most are single due to a loss of a spouse from health, all right? So Mr. Smith died, now Mrs. Smith is alone, or vice versa. And some are single by divorce, which would be a planned or unplanned event. Single life would be and is a challenge. It might be a relief, a good thing if your husband was in poor health. Might be a bad thing if you hadn't counted on a divorce or something like this happening. That all depends, of course, on the circumstances. I remember my mom talking about all the people who said, we're here if you need anything after my dad had died. Well, we're here. Everything you need, you just give us a call. And she told me very few people ever called her, ever. A few, but very few. She said, I hardly ever got a call from longtime friends that we used to run around with once your dad passed away. It was like I didn't even exist, or they didn't even think I would go with them to have a sandwich or something. She said, that hurt. And she told me that several times. So my brother and I, we call her all the time, of course, but God, we're the sons. We're supposed to, you know. So I'm wondering if you would take the time, make yourself a little note in the back of your mind, or maybe make a little list of people your friends you haven't talked to. I don't care if they live in North Carolina or Florida or Texas or down the street. Drop them a card, as the seniors might do. Drop them a note, or maybe you use the email machine. Maybe you could just call them. Say, hi, Charlie. Hi, Jane. How you doing? This is Rex. I called a friend of mine in Des Moines the other day just because of this. I hope you take the time and a concerted effort to call, visit, or friend who is now alone. You know something? I'm even going to expand that so it doesn't even have to be alone. Just call someone maybe you grew up with and haven't heard from him, but now you know he lives in Ohio somewhere, and you just give him a call out of the blue. I did that not long ago with a friend of mine. He lives on the West Virginia and Ohio border. He's actually from West Virginia, and we've talked quite a bit now. He's just really, really a good guy, retired cop, and all those type of things. And when he got a family and grandkids and things like that. So it's just people we knew, and now we didn't outlive them. They didn't just go by. It's just changed some circumstances. But friends are friends, folks, so why not get in touch with them for sure? Maybe it's somebody who lives right here in town. That could be. Give them a call, making a difference. Maybe, there are people that you grew up with, that went to high school with or college, or you knew from this group or that group, that live right here in town, and you never see them. You never see them at the grocery store. You never see them anywhere you go. Whatever happened to them? Oh, God, they live on College Street. They live on Friendship Street. You didn't even know that for a while. Isn't that something? It kind of makes you feel good when you do that. Well, a senior man tells me this. I'm considering selling my country acreage. I don't need all this anymore. He said, I used to love to take care of the big yard and the mow all the time. I still have a nice tractor. Got a lot of trees and a big garden. He said, but I just can't do it anymore. In my brain I can. I just can't do it anymore. So my question would be, is this you? Is this you who listen to Senior Talk? Do you have long liked to work in the yard? I like to work in the yard. I like to mow grass, make things look nice. That was sort of, if you will, beat into me as a kid. You're 8 years old. You've just inherited the front yard and the lawnmower in your life. And the backyard, too. But this guy says I love to do it, and it sounded to me like he had 4 or 5 acres that he's really taking care of. A really, really nice place. He says, I honestly don't know how I can sell this house. And I said, well, I do. You call me, we'll sit down and talk. Might talk 10 times before we come up with the right plan. Who knows? We don't know him. But he said, I don't think I can sell it. I honestly don't know where the lot pins are. I don't exactly know what I own or where I own, where the boundaries are. And I said, how can I sell if I don't know where they are? Well, and he said, how would I find them? I don't know where they are. Well, folks, you really, really, when you're buying a property, whether you're buying a house in town or in the country, or you're buying an acreage or selling an acreage, you need to know what you're buying. You need to know what you are selling. I have to tell you that in many, many cases, the neighbor's fence is on your side. Maybe your fence is on the neighbor's side. You really don't want to know. Well, you really, really have to answer some questions. When you sell a residential property, there's a seller's disclosure statement. You're going to have to answer some questions. It's called encroachment. Does the neighbor's garage hang over your side? Is your fence on his side? Should this all be straightened out before you sell and let the buyer not know? Well, of course, that's the deal. So what are we going to do with this man who wants to sell his acreage? Well, how's he going to find out where the lot pins are? Well, I'm going to give you a couple of easy, cheap ways that you can try. I said try. You can go to the Iowa City Assessor if you live within the city limits of Iowa City. If you live anywhere else in Johnson County, you can go to what they call the beacon. Like beacon, the light is a beacon, B-E-A-C-O-N, beacon site. And you could Google beacon site. You could go to Johnson-Assessor. I think it's Johnson County-Assessor or Johnson-Assessor.gov. Johnson County-Assessor.gov, I believe it is. And you can type in your street address, and up in the corner there's a bar. Up in the corner of the menu, you can see it says Maps, and the map is a drop down, and click on a couple of things, and there you will see your lot lines from an aerial view. Now, it's not exact. It won't say it's 2 inches from the big tree or anything like that, but you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can see roughly where they're at. I won't give you the exact location. Maybe you don't need the exact location. But if you do need the exact location, what is step 2? What is step 2 if you can't find them? Step 2 is to call a surveyor. Call an engineering company. Call an engineering company, get in the book, go online and look up engineering companies or surveyors in the Iowa City area, and give them a call and tell them what you're up to and see how much they might charge you. Then call 2 or 3 of them and get a cost expense. You don't want it's a surprise. I'll give you, if you live in town, I'm gonna tell you it's going to cost you $500 to $750. If you live out in the country, I'm going to tell you it's going to cost you $1,000 to $2,000. It's not cheap, folks. They got to send a guy out or a lady, whoever, a guy out to survey. They usually start at the courthouse and look up the information I just told you could look up. They start at the courthouse and look up your plat, look up your deed for a legal description. It's complicated, but you should know what your lot lines are right now. If you don't, you should know. For gosh sake, what do you own? I don't know. Back there to the tree. What if the tree's gone? I've read some great, what's it called, meets and bounds descriptions. That's in the old days. They would say it goes from the black oak tree, 340 rods south-southeast, to the mouth of the creek, hence parallel 347 feet northeast. That's called a meets and bounds. If you have a meets and bounds description versus that is a legal description versus a lot 6 part 2 Coral Heights subdivision, or lot 9 DeVoe division down a Lone Tree, something like that, then they're easier to find. So know what you have before you sell. Know what you're going to get when you buy. How do you find out we're buying, Rex? Ask for a survey. You can go online and look up. You can see roughly what you're going to get. Ask the seller to provide with a survey from out in the country for sure. Absolutely. I wouldn't buy. You might get into some trouble because you thought, well, that doesn't cut it in real estate. You have to know. Your beacon maps online will show a close location, but not the exact. You can look in the back of your abstract. If you have your abstract at home, look in the back. You'll see your plat. On the front page will be the legal description, Lot 4, Block 2, Coralville Heights. And on the back will be a plat, Lot 4, Block 2, Coralville Heights. At least show you where you're situated, for sure. All right? There you go. Call an engineering company when all else fails, because you're going to have to pay them, and rightfully so. They're in business, too. Well, a senior lady says to me, I have an old 2-story and more house. I rarely walk up the steps to the attic, but the other day I did. There's no insulation up there, just the flooring. Well, I kind of checked. I said, ma'am, the attic, a walk-up attic, is creating the space between your upstairs ceiling of your upstairs rooms and the roof. The attic is the space. And that is actually, that's vented at the other end. Either end it will be vented, so in the winter it's kind of chilly up there. And in the summer, if it's hot, at least the air gets to go through. So usually there's not much, especially an older home built anytime up to the 1930s, there's very little, if any, insulation anywhere in an attic. Even if they put the flooring down, they rarely put insulation even underneath the flooring you're walking on. So I was kind of taken back that she didn't know that, but she didn't, rightfully so. She didn't know that. So I asked her again. I said, what I want you to do now is maybe it's not handy to walk up those steps every day, and be careful if you do, because usually when you walk up from your second story up to your attic, it's pretty darn steep, and the steps are kind of skinny. You know what I'm talking about, folks? Yeah, my grandma and grandpa had the attic, and my brother and I always wanted to go up there. My cousins and I always wanted to go up there. And they say, well, you're going to come down in a hurry, meaning you just miss a step, you're really going to come flying down. And they always had things sitting on the side of each steps, 2-3 flashlights, an old box, and stuff like that. So it was really skinny, and there's no handrails. Speaking of that, do you have handrails? Go down to your lower level, down to your basement. Do you have handrail? Why not? give a handrail. You get about halfway down. The first half you have to hang on to a wall on either side. And then about halfway down you can run into a handrail. Folks, get a handrail. Don't mess with this thing. This is how people fall down the steps and get injured or worse. So that's the story. She's going to go check. I said, what you need to do now, she was up there last week, go up there this summer on a hot day and see what you find. It is vented up there. It'll be hot up there. It's stuffy and kind of, stuffy, but it's vented, so that's what's going on. All right. A senior couple advises, we want to get security cameras in our home. What do we do? Well, that's the big deal, folks. It's the big rage to have security cameras. They're everywhere. I have security cameras on some properties. I watch them on my computer once in a while. I have it set up so I can watch security cameras on my phone. Pretty handy. I've helped the police a couple times, more than that, a few times by people doing some things on some properties they weren't supposed to be doing, so they do pay for themselves in that respect. So I said this. I suggest you make some calls to local companies that do this type of work. Again, you could go to Google, or maybe you'd have some friends who are in the security type thing like that. Call a locksmith and see what they recommend. Yes, you can go online and go to a thing called Simply Safe. That's the big one you can install yourself if you're kind of a tech guy. Simply Safe, and I think it's spelled S-I-M-P-L-I, not P-L-Y, but P-L-I. Simply Safe. That's the big hotsy-totsy one right now. And I would suggest you go online and check those out. And if you want it monitored, like somebody breaks you in your house, you want the sheriff to know, you want the police to know, well, then you're going to have to tell these companies to do that. And then the police will look at it. The alarm will go off down at the police station, at the fire station, but you have to pay for that. That is expensive. I don't know. You talk to these companies. If I say $1 a day, I'd probably be low, but that's what it costs. You can sign a contract and, of course, get it done for better. I would tell you this. You have to end up having passwords, and if you have an audible alarm, the family, here's what happens with them. I have a lot of friends who have them. You forget to see, 90, no, I don't know about that. We'll say half the time you forget, you go home and walk in the door, you forgot to turn off. Now, you've got like 10 seconds or 30 seconds. You have a timer on. You can set the timer or a minute to go find it, push in your password. You leave and forget to arm it, what they call arm it. So here you spend all this money, you forget to arm it half the time. Lightning hits, lightning strikes, thunder strikes, it goes off, it scares the crap out of you. So they're kind of temperamental. They do serve an extreme important service. You might, and I don't know the answer to this, before you do that, you might call your insurance carrier, your insurance guy, your insurance lady. You do know who that is, don't you? Well, I think we still have it with this. I think we still have it with that. Well, did we change? Well, come on, folks, come on. So that's what you need to do. There might be discounts if you do put in an alarm system of some sort, monitored alarm system, monitored, where the police can get there. It makes sense if they would do that, all right? Go to it. Once you have them, you probably don't want to live without them because they do provide a sense of security for you. You can also monitor the windows inside in case you're sleeping nice and comfortable on the main floor or upstairs and somebody opens this, maybe you have a sliding doors up in the lower level. You can have cameras pointed at there, and they're going to set off an alarm, and away you go. You're all informed that you can somebody trying to get into your house. You can also set it up so they go off on your phone. Your phone makes a big beep, and you turn on your phone, and you see some creep from the deep in the lower level of your house. That is pretty handy for sure. All right, that's what you need to do. So I say to you, if you're interested in that, you should get started. Call a local alarm company, lock an alarm. You see that all the time. Go on Google, see who's in the Iowa City area, and make some phone calls. So I'm going to ask you a point-blank question. What, as a senior to senior here, not Rex to you, but senior to senior, what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for yourself? I didn't say to yourself. I said for yourself. Working to get rid of things? Is that on your calendar? Well, that should be. You know, when you start that, everybody says, well, I don't know. Well, we're too busy. Folks, when you get started, it really gets to you. It's really important. You find one of the things I can tell you is you find things you didn't know you have. You'll find things you might have just bought a new flashlight last week at somewhere, and you open up the junk drawer way in the back. There's 3 flashlights that you couldn't find. Well, you just found them. So actually, it costs you money not knowing where your stuff is. It really, really does. All right. Are you working to get repair things taken care of in the house? Well, you go to people's house and there's two handles off the kitchen cupboard. So you think, what's wrong with that? So you don't say anything, of course, or there's light in the bathroom. Well, that light doesn't work. Just the one light works. We got to get a ladder. Now, I don't want you to get a ladder and get up there if you can't hack it. Don't get a little two-step. You'll come crashing down and be in the hospital. If you're going to do it right. You use a nice big step ladder that gets you right up to the action there. What are you doing for yourself, all right? Are you taking care of things that need to be fixed in your house? How about this? Are you taking care of yourself in the fact that you maybe you need a doctor checkup, but you just haven't done that? You've had some teeth bother you, haven't done it. Folks, we only get one crack at this thing called life, and we need to enjoy it while we're here. I want you to start taking care of yourself, and that could be your home. That could be things that serve you, things that you enjoy, and or it could be your car. Well, your car had that back window, I don't know, who knows what, hail hit it and broke out the back window a long time ago. For gosh sakes, you're used to it now. Well, don't get used to it. Get it fixed. Well, that costs money. Yes, I understand that, but it's also for your safety and for your well-being, for sure. All right? As long as you're doing that, honestly, you could look around while you're trying to get organized. You're going to find some things you didn't know you had, as I mentioned before. But while you're doing that, in your haste of not doing things, when you're starting to do things, you could round up all your insurance papers and put them somewhere. You could do that. You could round up your banking things you get in the mail and start a file. For gosh sakes, go to an office supply place and get a little briefcase just on your house. We do that. We have 3-ring binders for each property. And in the binder says dividers, insurance. You want to know about this property, what do we have there? We go get that 3-ring binder, and they're also scanned in on the computer, so you can look it up on the computer. Oh, we've got that. We've got, pick a number, of $500,000 on that with a $1,000 deductible. That's with the Acme Insurance Company, and here's their number. If you just take some time to get organized, folks, why not? Yeah. See, that's why I say, what are you doing to help yourself here, all right? A lot of people, honestly, a lot of people don't even know what kind of coverage you have. Do you know what kind of insurance coverage you have on your car? Do you know how much insurance coverage you have on your house? Do you know your deductible? If you have a fire in your house, is your insurance company, can you go get a hotel room for first 5 days or the first 2 weeks? Can you rent a car if your car catches on fire? Can you do that? Have you taken photos of your credit cards and put them in your lockbox, so if your wallet gets burned up or you lose your wallet, you at least know the front and back of them, by the way, the numbers of your accounts? Can you do that? Can you do that? What if your computer burns up? Well, we'll just get a hold of the company. Well, you don't even know the company. Folks, do these things. You're not organized unless you could do these things. Do you know where your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, the originals, where are they? You've got a lot of things to think about, folks. I'm just trying to. I gave you all winter. On January 1, we talked about this, and we thought we'd talk again on March. It's like 90 days, and I haven't heard anybody call and say, well, we're 100% organized. Nobody's 100%, not even me. For sure, I probably am, but my wife isn't. That's what. It's an ongoing job. I mean, it is what it is. We have so many things, and you have so many things you forgot you had them. That's the hard part. You forgot you had them. All right. So get on it for sure. By the way, do you have umbrella coverage? I don't know how much. I do now because we sat down with our insurance man about a month ago. We figured this all out, made notes, for gosh sake. Well, unfortunately, I know the following. I know many stories about people who all of a sudden are dealing with big, in-your-face, life-changing issues / health issues. All of a sudden, not feeling well, go to the doctor, or trip and fall. And now my wife did that, trip and fell. Kind of changed things at our house, getting back to normal, but it sure was a rough go. And never be 100%, doing real great. But I just know so many other people who all of a sudden are dealing with these health things. And out of the blue, you drop over, it's too late to go make a will, folks, once you're gone. It's too will to go get a power of attorney so that something happens to your wife. You won't need power of attorney if she passes away. You'll need a will. But if Mr. Smith has a stroke and can't deal with things, and his wife has to take over things. It's going to take a power of attorney, and he won't be able to grant you the right to be the power of attorney if he's, quote, not all there for a while. So these are things, I don't make these things up. These are things, that's why they invented lawyers, because the people get in trouble. The lawyer would much rather work with you to make these things up, advance directives, than deal with your estate when he doesn't have anything to go on, for God's sake. A friend asked me this last week, matter of fact, he told me that his wife had a knee surgery a couple months ago. And then somehow, with her ability, tripped and fell and broke her other leg. That's going on right now. He says, we don't know what to do. We have a 4-level house. So I haven't talked to him for a while, but kaboom, all of a sudden, all these things come home to roost. Nobody planned on that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that to happen to anybody, but it does. All right. So how about you? Are you making any thoughts as to your future living setup? Any thoughts of your future on lots and lots of things? I want you to start thinking about yourself, thinking about what you have and don't have, all right? Does this seem like something that you might, someone in your house might say? Do any of these sound like someone in your house might say? I don't need to write that down. That would go right to Rex's grocery shopping. I don't even go there anymore without a list. I just don't. So during the week, I have a little pad of paper over there on the kitchen counter over in the corner. When I see we're low on milk, I write it down. I just go write it down. I say I need another 4 or 5 oranges. I like oranges. I just get down to like 2. I go write down oranges because I'm probably not going to go the same day. So by the day I want to go, I just go pick up the list. I'm set. Of course, I buy more stuff when I'm there. Just what Hy-Vee wants, just what any grocery store wants. Somebody like me buys more than they're supposed to. Too bad. I do it. So I don't need to write that down. Have you ever said that and then you get there and I have to call my wife or, I've done that 1,000 times. All right, how about this one? I'm on time whenever I get there. That is the senior motto. I'm on time whenever I get there is when I get there. All right? I don't disagree with that at all. We're seniors. We've come this far. I'm on time whenever I get there. All right. You think that people your age are older than you are. We talked about that. You think that everybody else your age looks a lot older than you do. Well, folks, probably have some news for you. Sometimes I gave my wife, kind of gave her a bad time the other day. I was standing there shaving, and I said, come here and look at it. And she came on, what? I said, I look like my grandpa, and he was an old man. And she just turned around and walked away. I said, well, what? She said, what? You're 74 years old. What do you expect you're going to look like? So I just kind of have to, it bothers me. It does. I'm vain. But I don't let it bother me every day. But I said, good God, I look old here today. All right. You think getting old should have taken longer. That's a common theme. Oh, God, I'm 74 or 82. How did I get this old this fast? What did I do? I was just a kid. I was just playing Babe Ruth baseball. I was just in the band. We were just on a family vacation to the East Coast. Now I'm 82 years old. Now I'm 73 years old. Now I'm retired. Where'd it go? These things all go past us. They really, really do. Now, with spring here and the better weather ahead, there are lots of activities that we do that we know we're going to do this spring and summer. Folks, don't delay. Plan them. Go enjoy yourself. Get out there and be yourself. Go for it. You want to go have lunch in Tipton? Drive over there. Hey, there's a nice bakery on the square. Go over to that bakery in Tipton. I think they close at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock. Lots of bakeries right here in town. Go do some things, folks, for gosh sake. One for the road when you're a senior. One for the road. You know what that used to mean, or maybe it still does, maybe not. One for the road now means visit the bathroom before you go somewhere. Isn't that the truth? Let's run down here. Let's go. Well, wait a minute here. Let me get my jacket. I have to visit the little room, we call it. That's right. All right. Got to have some fun with ourselves. But really, really, folks, we really can do a lot of things just when you think you got everything set. And then you don't have everything set. And we don't all know when or if we're going to have an issue, a health issue. But, since we don't know, that even plays right into my hand even better. Since we don't know, it's incumbent upon us. It would behoove each and every one of us to take time to get a little more organized with some things that could happen and could cause a disruption in your life. All right. Well, we've got a week to go until May 1st, and in this coming week, a lot of things happening. I see a lot of things happening with local athletes in the university and things like that, and in your life and your family. It is what it is. We're just going to live it. I don't like the term one day at a time, but it's all we've afforded, But enjoy yourself, take care of yourself, and next week, we're going to be back. We've got more things to talk about, and baseball season here. Cheer on your favorite team and get out there now and start watching your grandkids and have a great time. This is Rex Brandstatter saying thank you for listening to Senior Talk. My salute to all veterans. We'll see you next time. So long.
Looking for a place with a fun, casual atmosphere? Check out the Solon American Legion, a downtown staple for decades and a gathering place for veterans of all ages from all over the area. The Solon American Legion focuses on the